Welcome back to Appalachian Dim Sum,
where our entertainment is our comfort food.
And this is episode 38, desserts for this month.
Yeah, this is so kind of wrapping up our holidays, or holiday episodes.
Yeah, continuing
Continuing them, yeah. I guess. Smack in the middle of them.
Yeah, it's Christmas time, so we're watching a lot of Christmas movies.
Yes, yeah. Episode before was me making the case for The Fisher King to be my favorite Christmas movie. I guess you'll have to watch it and maybe watch our episode and see if you agree or disagree. But
well, one thing while we were talking about it, I had toward the end of the movie, there's a moment where Jack has like a little monologue.
Yeah,
and
he's basically arguing with himself.
Yeah,
out loud in a hospital.
And I don't know if maybe this needs to be my New Year's resolution. I don't know if it was because I was messing on my phone, or maybe I was falling asleep because I was watching it late at night, but I missed a very vital part of that monologue.
You missed
I missed the point, really.
The whole awakening of Jack.
yeah. And I kind of went away from, while I was watching, what I got from that little monologue of his was that he was still trying to convince himself that he was doing what he was doing for Jack, for for Perry, yeah. For Perry, doing it for Perry and not for himself. So I completely missed the subtext of what he was saying.
He was the idiot in The Fisher King,
and
in the story of The Fisher King.
I rewatched the ending of that, and I've come around to the idea that moment where he was back in his life and he was back being successful, and that epiphany he gets, and when he about the homeless and his place and everything, and he runs out to really help Perry.
Yeah,
that was his enlightenment moment.
Yeah.
I was because when I first watched it, I saw that the enlightenment occurred during his quest for the Grail when he was breaking into that house. I thought that was his enlightenment, but it was really before that.
It comes for us all.
So I definitely appreciate that conversation.
Sometimes it comes in the middle of your life. Sometimes it comes on the last day of it.
Yeah, yeah.
It'll find you one way or the other.
It was definitely a good film. Yeah. I definitely will watch it again. Won't watch it probably nearly as often as you do, but I'll definitely watch it again.
It's one of those things that I can just stick in if there's absolutely nothing else that I want to do. And I'm like, why am I sitting here looking at my phone? I'll just stick in a movie that's a favorite. And those are very often Smokey and the Bandit, The Matrix, that maybe a few anime. It depends on what the mood is. But The Fisher King itself is one I'd have absolutely no idea how many times I've seen. It's beyond 50. I am 50, and I've seen it
multiple times a year.
I've seen it multiple times a year since the first time I saw it when I was 16. And I'm pretty sure the math works out on that being more than 50. I'm not a mathematician. Yeah, this time this is our dessert episode.
Mm-hmm.
And while we're sitting here kind of talking about The Fisher King.
With The Fisher King.
The only other really food choice for The Fisher King, or to tie into The Fisher King, was early in the movie when Jack just goes on the bender and tries to kill himself, ends up going around all night with Perry in the homeless part of the city, and then wakes up just...
He passes out and Perry's drug him into his basement house.
He's probably still mostly drunk, but hungover and just nauseous and everything. Perry offers him a pie.
Fruit pie.
I think he finds the pie the night before, because he says something about the pie when they're sitting around the little barrel fire at night. But he offers him, or maybe there's just a lot of old fruit pies in New York or something. But he offers him the pie. Like, Jack is just heaving, like gagging, dry heaving and stuff. And
the pie's open.
Yeah, the pie's been open probably for weeks or months.
He mentions that it was expired. So I kind of went on a little quest of my own.
He's like, I think we might have missed that one by a few months.
I really wanted to find the fruit pies. I'm going to take a picture of it. I'm holding it up here. that had like the paper, and you definitely hear it, the paper wrapping, and they're hard to find anymore.
Yeah.
Most of them are in little boxes. Even this same brand I found in the boxes.
I wish I may have to put that on my list of things to do. Go back and see if I can see what brand it was in the movie.
I feel like it was probably Hostess.
Yeah,
but
well, it seems like this wrapping is pretty similar to it. But
right, yeah, this is more paper. The Hostess was kind of like a wax paper, kind of.
yeah.
But this was the closest approximation I could find, and I was I amused myself. I texted you right after I bought these because I found these on November 28th, and they were expiring November 28th. So we have expired fruit pies.
Expired pies.
So that's very thematically appropriate with the movie.
And those go. I don't think we really said much about it because we were going to eat them after we recorded. Mm-hmm. We had our dumplings and our mushu pork.
Oh yeah,
on the last time, and
had some fantastic
steamed and fried dumplings, and then mushu pork. I think was maybe a first for both of us.
Yeah, we're definitely branching out on some of the foods that we try on this. That's good.
It was very good. We had leftover mushu pork that night. My wife's like, "Have we ever had this before?" I'm like, "I don't think so." She's like, "This is good." Yeah. I was like, "Yeah, dang right it is."
I will have it again.
But moving on from that, this is our desserts, and this is generally what we are looking forward to. And a lot of times it's looking forward to movies that we've seen in trailers, something else that's upcoming. But this time of the year for me, especially after this year in movies, my desserts was looking forward to our classics. And it almost sort of like a cleanse in a way. We go back and watch all of our favorite Christmas movies, a lot of things we sit down as a family and watch. And these movies, especially after the last couple of years of pretty awful releases. We're going to talk later about sort of a year in review, and that's going to be kind of thin subject matter because I don't want to just trash things, and there's really not a lot of good to talk about. But these movies kind of take you back and remind you what Hollywood used to be and what it used to produce, and kind of a reminder that we were a great country once. We're trying to get there again. It's a long, hard road, but a lot of classics. We both brought our list of classics. We're not going to talk a whole lot about them because I think all in all we probably have 10 or 12 movies.
Yeah,
on our list. So be some brief runovers of some of them.
And yeah, you brought some of the films that you watched almost like on a annual basis. It's like these are the Christmas films you watch.
Yeah.
I mostly brought just ones I've seen recently, kind of thing.
Yeah.
The ones that there are a lot of films that I see regularly, but not really annually.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any for me and my family. I don't think there's something that there's one film on here that we watch every year, and it's not because of Christmas. It's not during Christmas time, and I'll explain more about that then.
I thought about go through and rank Christmas movies and all that, and that becomes so arbitrary and just kind of dumb. And I've watched other people rank things, and it's just trying to create an argument over nothing. I'm like, nah.
When we first started doing this, I did have it in my head that at some point we'll do like a tier list and stuff like that. But as we've kind of settled into a format, I'm not really interested in doing that. I mean, bring some things you like. I'll bring some things I like. I don't think we have to say, this one's better than that one. It doesn't matter.
I think our tiers are, this was good or this was garbage. So it's the G tier, good or garbage. It's all the same.
But that's a couple of the films that I thought of adding on here, but I didn't, simply because I feel like they're so ubiquitous with our culture. That's like, sure, we could prattle on about How the Grinch Stole Christmas, A Christmas Story, Home Alone, Polar Express. That's a new one. I actually saw that in the Grandin Theater.
Yeah,
it was a nice event, but
it was.
I could say some things about that film.
Polar Express is one of those movies that I hope everybody sort of enjoyed it when it came out. It's kind of one of those things. If you have good memories of it, just keep those memories and don't go back and watch it. Because if you watch it with a more discerning eye, you're going to start to be like, I don't know about that one.
You're talking about like the CG and stuff,
or just overall a lot of things with it.
Yeah, it was a moment in time situation.
it was a thing that it was popular. I mean, it was back when films were still events, and it was an event.
I
And
don't know if Polar Express will be a generational thing. I think it
I
might
don't.
just be like
I think
our
it.
generation.
Yeah, it's not even. I don't want to put it down to that category, but like when those first recent wave of Star Wars films, that the new trilogy hit the theaters, everybody was so excited because it was Star Wars again, and you went to go see it, and it's like, oh wow, that was awesome. It was explosions and fights and blah blah blah. Then you watch it a second time, and like, wow, that's kind of dumb.
I had a family member that had never seen it, so we took them, and it was an evening kind of thing. It was nice.
There's
It was a nice evening.
it's
It was
nice to
it was
enjoy
good to
things
watch.
as a group when it's
Hmm.
kind of a big popular event, and I guess my warning to people in some of those is just sometimes let that event be. Don't don't go back and try to revisit them because you might be undermining your memory there.
Nightmare Before Christmas, I think it's a modern classic. I think that will stand the test of time.
Yeah.
Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger's fun. I really wanted to talk about that, but
it it's it's one that we don't watch all the time. But my son just we were just
it's a
talking to him
fun
the other
film.
night. He's like, I just watched Jingle All the Way again. I'm like,
Yeah.
we sit there and talked on the phone in 5 minutes, just quoting things from it with Arnold running and trying to remember the names of the reindeer. And I think and it's just one of those things you forget. My son had no idea that Sinbad was a stand-up comedian.
Oh, really?
That he just
Like
he was the
I could
post
see why he wouldn't know
he's the
that.
postal worker in the
Yeah,
movie, and I was like,
nice.
I was telling him about how it was kind of a little different line from some of the other popular stand-ups back then. That he really just he stayed in like Apollo theaters. He
Hmm.
really was doing comedy for the black culture and for black people. But because of Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor, we were seeking out people like that and still enjoying their comedy. Um, so I saw a lot of Sinbad stuff. Uh, Anytime I could get to anywhere where there was cable, I was always trying to sneak over to a channel and see stand-up comedy stuff because I loved stand-ups, and we had two channels, so we didn't get to see very much of it at home. But,
I definitely think Sinbad benefited from the cable era,
oh yeah,
where
yeah,
it was like accessible to everybody. I guess he might be like popular on YouTube kind of thing today, like a similar comic.
he was on like HBO specials and stuff back when I
But
was
yeah,
a young teenager.
that's what I was thinking. Is there were a lot of comedians in the '90s that benefited from the fact that everybody had cable. A lot of people had HBO, and HBO was a big part of the culture, so that it was almost like ubiquitous for all Americans that we knew about these people. It's you don't really have that anymore because like cable doesn't exist.
Yeah,
I mean, the closest thing to that is like Netflix. If something comes out on Netflix and Netflix makes a big deal about it, thinking of like Stranger Things right now,
yeah,
that becomes a part of the culture simply because of the ubiquitous nature of Netflix itself and the advertising they put into it.
yeah. I think if you're like a stand-up comedian right now,
You
you
make
make or break yourself on YouTube,
absolutely,
and
absolutely.
that's where I watch anybody that I enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, sure. I think shorts have been a godsend for comics because that's how I find a lot of comics now. Is I'll go through
yeah,
shorts and you'll hear one or two jokes of them like, let me see their special.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. They're appealing to our attention deficit disorder.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There was Bo Burnham. Do you know who that is?
The music dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a show years ago at this point where he played a guy who like really wanted, I'm trying to think of the name, who really wanted to be famous. And that's what his show is about, him trying all these things to be famous. And one of the things he talks about and this was before like TikTok, is he had like short music clips, and he was like, this is how people are going to listen to music in the future, in like 5-second clips, which is funny because there are so many times you'll see a short on YouTube or something. It's obviously something that's been like ripped from TikTok or whatever, and it has a nice beat or a nice little song.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, cool, let me look up that song. I want to hear the rest of that song.
Yeah.
And the rest of the song is terrible.
Yeah.
Just that like 30-second bit that they cut out. That's pretty cool.
I don't know a lot about Bo Burnham. I've always kind of had the impression that he, kind of tying this back to the Fisher King, that Robin Williams was such a comedic genius, that I think he was always kind of teetering on the brink of stability and probably mental insanity. And sometimes
Yeah.
that somebody like that Burnham guy, when I watched that special with him where he was like at home, he shot that whole thing.
Inside. Yeah.
It was like, is this guy okay? I mean, it's just like funny, but it's like it almost feels kind of weird because it's like I'm not sure this guy's all the way there. So I
Yeah, yeah,
just an aside, it
but
kind of
Bo,
reminded me of those older kind of sort of tortured comedians like Williams. If you really listen to Williams talking and watching when he was younger, it's like,
yeah,
wow, this guy's brain is about to explode. I mean, he's running 1,000 miles a minute, and
I would definitely say that Bo Burnham seems like he's kind of a tortured individual.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
I hope he has a. I hope he's doing well.
yeah,
Just as everybody knew Robin Williams struggled with drugs and alcoholism and stuff, and
yeah,
we all wish the best for him.
yeah.
Well, that's a downer. The show that Bo Burnham
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. The show that Bo Burnham was on it was a short little series. It was made in 2013, so yeah, it was like before a lot of the social media. Was Zach Stone is going to be famous.
Okay.
It's it's one of those things. If you like Bo Burnham, you'll probably like the show.
Yeah.
A couple of other Christmas movies, like that kind of goes along with Jingle All the Way, is like Elf and Bad Santa. Like both those are great. I think great modern Christmas films.
When we had cable, the number of times where you just flip and you settle on Elf because it was on is hard to count. And again, I love quotable movies, and there's so many things in there. My favorite one still of that is just he's an angry elf, and that was just because of our little tiny angry chief that we had at the railroad. That
I like the "You Sit on the Throne of Lies." I like that.
little guy thought that steroids were going to make him taller. They didn't. He was an angry elf.
One of the things I was really impressed with, that impressed me, I guess, was impressed upon me, was how many Christmas horror films exist.
Yeah.
I would like to see how many Christmas horror films there are versus how many Halloween horror films there
maybe
are.
we should like dive into those. I don't know if we want to do that first of the year or save that for like a next Christmas kind of thing. Because I have a bunch to talk about on that, but I don't want to derail what we're doing today.
Well, if we're still doing this next year, we'll talk about it next year. I'll try to put it in my rotation to watch, because I've only seen like Black Xmas or something like that, or Black Xmas.
I don't know. There's probably a Black Christmas and a Black Xmas.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Black Xmas.
But some of them are actually good movies. I mean, like the Krampus was a good movie.
Okay.
And Rare Exports is a
yeah.
I love that movie.
I've seen Krampus. I've seen Black Xmas, and let me watch a couple more.
There was
Black
one that I haven't seen.
Christmas horror films.
I wanted to track down where David Harbour is like a Santa Claus. That's like
I saw that one.
It's like
that one's relatively recently.
Violent Night or something. Mm-hmm. Something I don't know.
There's a lot of Christmas horror films called Silent Night.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah,
but anyway, there aren't a lot of Halloween horror films. You would think there would be a lot. Like clearly, there's the Halloween franchise.
Yeah.
But ones that are centered around the Halloween holiday. Not many.
Trick or Treat and like Halloween.
Yeah.
Those are like the only two I can even think of without going into an internet search.
And we will talk about A Christmas Carol, but I think A Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
Similarly to A Wonderful Life, like those are genres in and of themselves.
If you wanted to like do a rank film thing, we should like go through and rank all of the versions of A Christmas Carol.
There's got to be dozens of them.
I mean, Jim Carrey, The Muppets. You got the oh Lord, the guy that played Patton, George C. Scott. That was the one I grew up on, but there were ones before that, black and white, and
there are newer ones.
That's almost like the Grinch. I was seeing an ad like for a Dr. Seuss thing on TV, and it had somebody dressed. Maybe it's like an Amazon ad that had somebody dressed up like the Grinch, and it was just completely immediate eye rolls. Like, are they making another version?
Probably
of that movie. It's like I didn't look into it. I hope it's just a commercial. Maybe there's so many Grinch suits out there that they're just using them for commercials now. But I was like, man, it's like, what is the most remade movie on the planet? Got to be. Those have to be two of the top contenders.
And you can't even trust just Googling anymore because of all the AI things now.
I'm gonna spend my holidays seeing if I can figure out how to like disconnect AI from my Google searches, because I just don't like being lied to by a computer.
Well, I have the theory that the internet in the future, maybe 15 years from now, is going to be useless. Like, just it's complete.
Yeah.
It's far from being useful now. We are far past the point where you can just look up some information and trust. Hey, this is true. You've got to verify all your information.
I'll have more on it when we get to. Will that be our coffee service? When we talk about Christmas anime?
Yeah, that would be our coffee service.
Just about how wikis in general are destroying our minds and history. But I'll get more into that later.
Yeah, like this is insidethemagic.net, and it's just literally them being like, could there be a Grinch too, from the Jim Carrey Grinch? It's useless. Anyway,
yeah.
Let's see. You want to get into the films that we brought in to talk about?
Yeah. Well, you brought a mix of ones that we watch fairly regularly. Don't catch every one of these every year because you do get kind of time limited now that the kids are not at home.
Especially.
Sometimes it's like we'll just pick one and do a movie night or something. It just depends on how long everybody will be here. But at some point I'll actually watched this first one last night because it's like a 50-minute watch.
Nice.
And
this is
oh yeah, I'm sorry. This is Emmet Otter's Jug-Band Christmas.
Jug-Band. Okay. It's a Jim Henson production.
And I was not even aware of it. I think maybe I'd seen it on TV a long time ago, and it was back in that time frame when little specials like that were coming on all the time during the holiday season. You just turn the TV on, they'd be on in the background, and you'd do other things.
Again, a benefit of like cable TV and over-air TV.
Yeah. Well, that was for us. It was on Channel 7 or Channel 10 if we were watching it. Or maybe PBS depending on how the clouds were. We had a TV in the kitchen you could watch PBS on if you messed with the antennas. But this discovered this again a couple years ago, and we watched it with the kids because the kids hadn't seen it and they loved it again. I say kids, my kids are adults now, but they were almost adults or young adults when we watched this the first time. It was a 1977 Jim Henson directed TV special, and it was one of those things they just kind of threw it out there to fill a time slot, and it was there weren't viral things in 1977, but it's one of those things that was very popular. I guess they didn't have any expectations of it at all, and it kind of became a thing that people were asking for and demanding, and they actually did, I think, a theater release with it, and then re-released it on as a series or as a TV movie.
Okay.
And it showed for several years and stuff. But
yeah, 45 minutes is a good sweet spot for that kind of media, because put a couple commercial breaks in there.
You could tell it was made for TV because it was meant to fit a 1 hour time slot with commercials.
You watch it 15 minutes and for some reason they fade to black and fade from black. Like,
But these are also original little characters that Jim Henson threw in, but I guess to sort of draw people to it with his already existing fame, he had it introduced and narrated by Kermit, which is of course him. And it's just a little cute story. It's this Emmet and his ma, who is widowed because their dad was a snake oil salesman that didn't leave them any money. She does laundry, Emmet does odd jobs for money. I think you end up with, like, at the very beginning, Kermit while he's trying to introduce the story, he gets run off the road on his bicycle by the River Bottom Gang, which are all these like little thugs in a hot rod. So this is 1977 culture. The River Bottom Gang is a stoat, which is almost like a weasel, a lizard, a snake, a catfish that they carry around in a jar, and a weasel. So those are all the bad guys that like rock and roll and driving fast. all those bad things. And really simple story. They both want to enter a talent show so they can win $50 at the talent show. This is Ma and Emmet. So that one can buy a gift for the other. They both want to give something nice to each other, and that's the only way they can get the money to do it. She wants to buy Emmet a guitar because she knows he likes music. He wants to buy his Ma a piano because she sings, and she kind of sings a lot of classic, sort of ballad type things. And through the course of the story, she sells his tools that he uses for odd jobs so she can make a dress for the talent show. He takes her wash tub and makes a base out of it, has to poke a hole in it so she can't use the wash tub anymore. And gets his little band, and they think they've got this song worked out. They're going to win the talent show. They go there. as they're backstage, the guy that goes on before them does their song, so they have to like change. Then Ma comes out and does hers. They all lose to the River Bottom Gang because they come out and sing this rock song about how I can't remember what the song is. I should have noted that, but it's pretty much just how like they hate everything, and they're the River Bottom Gang. And so they lose the contest. They're going back home. The judge tells them. The judge is like a little frog. Says that you guys are both really good. Just it wasn't as polished as like their rock song. Um, so they're kind of together outside later, and they she talks about how it'd be cool if like we combine my song and your song, and they sing. The frog comes by and hears them doing their song together, and like, that's great. Y'all should have done that at a talent show. Too late for that, but I've got a restaurant that's packed all the time, and I need a band to come perform. So they get a regular gig to go do what they like to do at the band performing their song. That's
That's it.
that's the story.
Now, I didn't immediately recognize this when you posted it on our Discord, but looking at images here, because I was like, well, I've never seen that, so I'll just let Joel talk about it. I've absolutely seen this, but I must have been like real little.
Yeah, 77.
Yeah.
I would have been 3 or 4 years old when this thing came on TV, so that's probably why I didn't remember it then.
Mm-hmm.
I think I remember being, older, 7, 8, 9, 10, somewhere in that age, and it coming on again and seeing it and watching it, because anything that came on TV that my parents let us watch was like, yay.
Was Emmet Otter in anything else?
I think the main crossover that I saw from this is, I think that guy Beauregard, that's like isn't he like the janitor in the Muppet Show?
Beauregard.
I think there was a character that looked an awful lot like him. I'm not sure if it was supposed to be the same guy.
That guy?
Yeah. But obviously, same voices.
Yeah.
I don't know if Frank Oz had anything to do with this one or not, but anything that Jim Henson voiced, I guess he was probably voicing half of this thing. But again, if you want something to sit down after dinner with your family and watch, younger kids up to high school age kids, grown kids that like to just sit down and do things together, it's a great watch. It's fun.
This is the kind of thing that I think my family would have like put on, because the thing we're going to talk about next, this is part of my memory while you're like wrapping presents and stuff.
Yeah,
it's just something to kind of have in the background.
I was
that's
pricing
Christmassy.
I was pricing cards for the show that we're going to this weekend and watching this in the background, and not paying super close attention to it because I've seen it multiple times. But it's just like so many other things I talk about in our comfort food. The whole idea of the show is that you can turn these things on and just rewatch them. It's good stuff. It's not harming anything. It's not putting any bad thoughts in your mind. It's giving you a nice little Christmas message about giving. And I'm fine watching Muppets at age 50, almost 1.
And the simplicity of the message, I think, is what made these kind of evergreen. Like,
oh yeah,
the message is just, you can, at any point in your life, you can appreciate what it's trying to impart on the audience.
The beauty of things like this is they are really giving you sort of basic Christmas church sermon messages to people that don't go to church, and whether or not whatever they draw from it, there's nothing bad to take away from it. So it's the existence of these shows is just a good thing.
And that goes right into the next series of movies I'd like to talk about. Yeah. It's all of the Rankin Bass animated entertainment. It's the stop motion Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
I'm getting a little gray to do it, but somebody has told me before that I looked a little bit like Yukon Cornelius.
Okay, yeah.
I got to put a stocking hat on for it to be a full effect, but I think somebody actually did that at a show or something. I had a stocking hat on, and they were like, Yukon. And it took me a second. I was like, what are they talking about? I was like, oh yeah.
There you go.
I gotta work the mustache out a little bit more.
A little bit. But going through the ones that kind of popped out to me, because like I said, I was just going through lists of Christmas movies. Obviously, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. That's the popular one, the one everybody knows.
The one for the dentist elf.
Yeah. Santa Claus is Coming to Town. The Year Without Santa Claus. The Little Drummer Boy, which was my favorite as a child.
I love The Little Drummer Boy.
I absolutely love that. I was one of those kids who got stuck on like one song, and it was probably because of that I was stuck on the Little Drummer Boy song. I like the rum pum 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 pum.
When you know entertainment for as long as we have both been consuming it, I can tie anything back into anything. The Fisher King, the drag guy, was performing imitating Ethel Merman.
Mm-hmm.
Ethel Merman is a character in those movies. In one of the new, I think it's the Baby New Year one
Mm-hmm.
with the vulture. She's just like a cowgirl she's shooting guns and stuff. It's Ethel Merman actually voices the character. So
it's kind of like that Kevin Bacon 6 Ways from Kevin Bacon.
It's all connected.
Everything's connected in one way or another.
That one was actually kind of terrifying when you were a kid. The one with the big vulture that was trying to steal the Baby New Year.
I loved that one. I loved the little Baby New Year with the little hat and everything.
The vulture was creepy.
I didn't like the Jack Frost one. I was out when I was little. As a little one, I was scared of Jack Frost.
I think that was probably one of the ones we saw the least.
Or not Jack Frost, Heat Miser.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the Miser Brothers Christmas. That was the one I was scared of, the Miser Brothers.
Yeah. I don't know if it's because of Ethel Merman or because of the buzzard. That one sticks out as my mind as the one that bothered me. But it's good for us. Little fear is good for a little kid.
A little bit. Now, apparently, the Rankin Bass Animated Entertainment went defunct in 2001. I wasn't aware of that.
I can't imagine those guys were alive much beyond that. I've never looked into those guys that much, but
like Jim Henson Productions has sustained itself beyond Jim Henson's death.
Yeah, it hasn't really thrived though. It kind of lost something when they started trying to revoice the stuff, and you could tell the comedy was just not the same level of comedy in some of those. And I mean, they were still nice little things for young kids to watch, but it wasn't as good as the old stuff.
Well, now I'm wondering what they did, because like all these films with the stop motion was like from the 60s and 70s.
I think they did things separately too. Like there's some films that were produced by one or the other. I don't know that they did everything as this big production company, but that's just me scrolling Google a few times and like looking at that kind of stuff. I don't remember.
Okay, they really didn't do a lot past the 70s. They did the Coneheads in 1983. They did like Pinocchio's Christmas, A Leprechaun's Christmas Gold.
Yeah.
It looks like that was animated TV series. Their last, feature films.
Yeah, I wonder too. I've never looked it up. I wonder if they were affiliated with like a network like ABC or something. If they just were one of those go-to guys, like we need some content this year. Can you make us a show?
Yeah. They did The King and I in 1999. So they kind of just, it seems like they just stopped.
Yeah.
It's a shame. But yeah, I think those are, I don't make it a point to watch them. And it was one of those things, if like you were saying, if you found it on TV, you'd watch it.
Yeah, we're in that kind of middle ground where our kids are grown. We don't have any grandkids yet, but those will be those things that you pull back out when the
absolutely good. Yeah, good
when the grandkids come around. So.
Okay, going into more adult themed, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, depending on the age of the grandkids.
Depending on the age, yeah.
Yeah, Christmas Vacation is, again, I don't even know how to quantify how many times I've seen that movie. I love movie quotes. That's just one endless movie quote from start to finish. It came out in 1989. If you want to make yourself feel old, I saw that in the theater. I think over a holiday break up in West Virginia with great aunt and uncle. I was staying up there, and I've said multiple times on the show where you wish you could kind of sort of bottle some of those first time experiences. I don't know that I've ever laughed out loud in a theater as much as I did during that movie. The first time viewing that thing, that movie just hit every funny bone that I had. The characters in it, or everything in there, is just so classic. Of course, Cousin Eddie, all of his stuff with the camper and the sleigh riding and the shopping, and then the at the dinner table and stuff. The Aunt Bethany and the Uncle Lewis characters, I think when first time, I think when they asked her to say grace and she did the Pledge of Allegiance. I know that was just a laugh out loud. Yeah, it's one of those things you know it's coming now. It's just one of those things you just kind of snicker out. But that was just so funny when I saw that the first time. But all the little segments of that movie, they go out to get the tree at the beginning, and they have that interaction with the guys, the road rage guys, and um, then he goes back into him hanging his lights, kind of ongoing through the thing, and trying to get the power on. And when it does come on, he blacks the whole city out.
That was a great scene.
The sleigh riding scene where Eddie talks about how he had to take them. They replaced his government metal plate with a plastic one because every time his wife turned on the microwave, he peed his pants and forgot who he was for a few hours. I was like, that's some of the comedy writing in that show is just so good. You get the meal like where the dog's yakking on the bone under the table, and they've got the Jello with the cat food that Aunt Bethany brings. I think from there they go to the whole sequence with the squirrel get loose in the house, and then the kind of ongoing thing where he's at work trying to get the bonus to pay for the pool, and he doesn't get the bonus, and then Eddie goes and kidnaps that's a I know he's a Murray. It's Bill Murray's Bill Murray one there's Bill Murray has like what 4 brothers, I think, that all were in film. That's one of his
Which
brothers.
which Murray is it? Let's see.
I
It's
forget
Sam
which.
Murray. No, it's Sam McMurray. Murray. Brian Doyle Murray.
Yeah, because same one from Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
Guy that plays his boss gets kidnapped. I just love that whole scene too, where he goes off and I have the happiest Christmas since Danny F and K. It's like White Christmas or whatever that was, and the SWAT team comes in, and the police officer and the SWAT thing is like, man, that's pretty low, mister. If I had a rubber hose, I'd beat you. I could sit there and quote that movie for hours. But oh yeah, completely skipped the whole toilet thing. The crapper was full. It's like he's talking about the peaceful winter morning and the snow flickering on the stuff. Some idiot dumping his chemical toilet into our sewer. Comes back around to close the movie out where Uncle Lewis throws a cigar into the sewer and launches the Santa Claus.
It was definitely a staple of National Lampoon, like as a brand.
Yeah.
Those vacation movies really.
I think it was their high point. I don't know they ever did anything that was better.
Let's see. They had that was the 3rd film in the vacation series, I guess.
Yeah. The first one's a classic. The second one was kind of one of those mandatory sequels that had funny moments in it and stuff. We saw the 3rd one coming. It's like, are they really going to do a 3rd one? And it's like, oh wow, it's one of the probably those rare circumstances where a sequel is, especially a 3rd sequel, is just that much better.
Have you ever seen Vegas Vacation?
Yeah.
See, I didn't even know that existed.
It kind of is in that same level of like that European Vacation. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's got some funny stuff. It's mostly just trying to repeat jokes from the other stuff. And the biggest thing at that point is that you had to recast the kids for the 3rd time, and just kind of becomes silly at that point that because they recast them from the first time to
ages and
Christmas Vacation. Gosh, that was the kid from Roseanne, wasn't it? That was the son, and then Juliette Lewis was the daughter. Which again, I thought were the best. I guess Rusty in the first one was probably a fan favorite. But
Johnny Galecki.
Yeah.
Oh, he was the guy who was in Big Bang Theory, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he went to Big Bang after he was Darlene's boyfriend in Roseanne for
a few years.
For years, but that was my favorite pair of Griswold kids, mostly because of Juliette Lewis.
I definitely think the Christmas Vacation, or the vacation films, at least ones with Chevy Chase, shows how important a cast is.
Oh yeah,
because I mean, between Chevy Chase, Beverly D'Angelo, and specifically Randy Quaid, I think this film is one of Randy Quaid's best performances. That's not exactly a high bar, but
I don't know that he ever took himself seriously enough to claim that. But yeah, he
He's a sarcastic man in general.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he takes life seriously. Every time I've heard him talk, it's like he's somewhat joking with everything he says. And I think that comes across in his characters.
There was one other like little cast thing that I thought was interesting there that I always kind of forget.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus as Margot Chester.
Yeah. But
see, I've Christmas Vacation is one of those films that, like, I remember as a child, I remember it being on and my parents watching it and stuff. And I had only ever seen it for the first time a couple of years ago. And that was one of the things that I was like, whoa, Elaine. And I'm sure, the actors hate being remembered from one character. But it was, the fact that she was in it really surprised me.
Yeah, her, gosh, cannot find him. Oh, the guy from Raising Arizona. I think he's in the office with him, Sam McMurray. I was thinking that maybe I was remembering that wrong. I was thinking that the one of the parents was one of the guys from the Honeymooners, but that's not correct. So
it happens.
I think it's because his name. I think is his name Art? No, Art is is her parents.
Is the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation one? Is that the only National Lampoon Vacation that you watch on a regular basis, or is it the one you watch most?
The other ones that we would watch would be just whatever showed up on cable back when we had it. That's the only one. I got my collection over there. It's the only one that I own.
So I guess I answered that question. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Beverly D'Angelo. Mm-hmm. That's hard to say apparently for me. She's a pretty fascinating actress. I've always thought she's a really good singer. I think she does a little bit of that actually in the fourth one. They let her sing a little bit in the Vegas Vacation one, but she played I think she played Patsy Cline in Coal Miner's Daughter.
Okay.
Which is kind of surprised she didn't do more of that kind of musical stuff. And maybe there's more out there that I've never seen of hers, but she was one of those ones that was sort of a borderline. Could have probably made a career in music instead of film, but I guess probably more lucrative to do the film thing.
Hey, she's in a film that before we started filming, you were mentioning Violent Night.
Yeah, the David Harbour thing.
The David Harbour where I don't know if he's Santa. He's a Christmas horror film with David Harbour. She's in that apparently.
That's enough to make me want to go watch that now.
There you go.
I think the other random thing that she's in, it's a completely off-topic movie, but American History X. Have you ever seen that?
No. With Edward Norton?
Yeah, completely different topic for another day, but very.
Yeah, it's not a Christmas movie.
very good film. That she's like the mom in that.
Okay.
It's kind of another random appearance of her. Yeah, right. It kind of blows my mind on stuff like Christmas Vacation that I think my son's girlfriend had not seen it until she saw it with us, and all these things that are staples for us, you're kind of getting into these generations of people that are like, I've never seen that. You're like, what? It's like, stop what you're doing and get over here, sit down on the couch and watch this movie now. Dang it.
The generation coming up now, I think they're like the classic Christmas films are the films like Elf and things like that. Yeah. That's kind of what's in our cultural zeitgeist. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, I don't feel is a cultural film anymore. It used to be. Yeah. It's not anymore.
I'd love to look into that another time. Numbers of like how many people even have cable in their houses anymore. It can't be very many people.
I mean,
or maybe it's more than I'm thinking there is, but it seems like the only time I ever even see it is in a hotel room.
Yeah. I know some people who have like Xfinity, because Xfinity did the thing where they have cable, but they kind of merged it with the whole TiVo thing and streaming. It's like this mishmash amalgam service.
So if you have the whole T branch, TBS, TNT, and all the little FX or Fox spinoffs, those movies are probably running on loop at this point, because I can't imagine they're doing anything other than just buying old properties and showing them. But
one of the things I was taken aback by, because I was on the next episode when we were talking about a little bit about Tokyo Grandfathers, and I wanted to watch that, but I really couldn't find it anywhere to watch. Yeah, I did eventually find it on Plex, but it was subtitled,
Yeah.
not dubbed, and I prefer dubbed. So I'm just going to borrow that from you. But you don't really have a place like if you want to watch Christmas Vacation. There's not like a I know it plays on TBS, so let me turn on TBS.
Yeah.
You have to actually specifically go out to try to find these films, and that might be one of the reasons that younger people aren't seeing them is because it's not something that just appears on their feeds.
Yeah.
Kind of like YouTube probably is the closest thing that we have now to cable.
There may be a thing 5 years from now where all the stuff that's on cable is just coming to you through your phone, and there's just a thing that you flip to and it's just showing movies all the time or something. Who knows?
I would like to see, and this may happen, but I would like to see like the shorts that we have now, like on YouTube, those be clips of films, like, and they act as kind of like a trailer. Be like, oh, that's funny, and you hit it, and okay, now you can watch the whole film. That would be cool.
Christmas Vacation would be a great one to do.
Yeah,
there's
got to be a bunch
little
of YouTube clips.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Let me look. YouTube Christmas Vacation.
I'm just picturing the when he has it on his back and they're like squirrel, and everybody just starts running back and forth, and squirrels on Chevy Chase's back while they're running up the steps. That whole sequence is probably not 50 seconds. That's an easy short.
Pretty much. I mean, they have clips. Yeah,
pretty much everything Eddie says. Oh, and he's beating up all the ornaments. That's the one you just pulled up. That whole like slow motion where he's putting the lights back together, and he's like, and he hits it, and just lights explode. And
I think the Christmas Vacation film, out of all the vacation films, is the one that really stands the test of time. Yeah. I think someone watching it today would get just as much entertainment out of watching it back then.
However many, potentially hundreds of times I've seen that, I still see these scenes and they make me laugh. They're ingrained in me and part of my sense of humor. I'm sure my sense of humor came from growing up and seeing stuff like that. That may not be a good thing in today's little modern world, but I'm all right with that.
All right. Well, the first, not the first, but one of this Christmas movie for me is the one that we watch every year. Mm-hmm. And we don't even watch it at Christmas every year. For us, it's a good travel film. We kind of treat films as like books on tape kind of situations.
Yeah. Where
we'll put it on and we'll just listen to it as we're going down the road. And this is one of those films that we've seen enough to where we don't feel the need to watch it.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, okay, that's still dangerous, but whatever. Nicolas Cage. And you don't think you've ever seen this?
This is The Family Man?
The Family Man, yeah.
All right, I'm not sure that I have. I've seen a lot of his things, and I'm 80+% confident that I have not seen that.
So this is It's a Wonderful Life genre movie. Nick Cage plays Jack Campbell. It has Téa Leoni as Kate Reynolds, and the only other notable actor that is of any significance is Don Cheadle, plays a character named Cash. Basic premise, like I said, It's a Wonderful Life. Jack and Kate are like sweethearts in college, and they're looking at their life, looking out, and saying, "Well, what are we gonna do with our lives?" And Jack has an opportunity to go to London to like train, and she asks him not to go, and it's one of those things where he's like, "Oh, it's fine. We'll be fine. Nothing's gonna change. We love each other." Fast forward 13 years, Jack is this like big single New York brokerage executive in a huge penthouse, living a lavish life, he pulls out the drawer and has his watch collection. You get the idea.
Yeah, yeah.
And you find out he's putting together this like this company merger that's worth billions and billions of dollars. And one night when he is leaving his office, and you get to find out what kind of man he is pretty early on, because it's like Christmas Eve, and he's telling all of his people, "Well, you got to be here tomorrow because we got to make sure this merger goes through." And like, "But Jack, it's Christmas," and he's like, we're gonna be billionaires or whatever. It's Christmas.
That's definitely a holiday film trope.
Exactly, yeah. He's like, "You're gonna be here." He's a very, very much like a Scrooge type character.
Yeah, yeah.
So as he's leaving, he goes to like a little convenience store, and that's where Don Cheadle's character Cash is when you first meet him. And he has like a, a lottery ticket that's like fraudulent, and he's trying to get the cashier to take it. And the cashier's like, "No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to take it. I know you changed the bubbles." And Cash gets upset and pulls a gun, and Jack is there, and since he's like a negotiator, he's like, look, you say you won 200 and some odd dollars, $250. I'll buy it from you for $200, and I take a chance that this is real. You get $200, and if it's real, I make $50. And Cash is like, okay, that sounds good. And they go outside, and they're kind of talking, and Cash says, you seem like a man that that has everything. What does Jack need?" And Jack's like, "I don't need anything." And the next morning he wakes up, he goes back home, falls asleep in his penthouse, wakes up, and he's in like a New Jersey suburb, and Kate's there with him. And so he gets to see what his life would be like if he hadn't gone to London.
Gotcha.
And he has a couple of kids.
I'm confident at this point I've not seen that.
Okay, yeah.
I was wondering if there's a scene or something there that sounded familiar. It's like, no, I have not seen that.
Well, I'm not going to go too far into it. It's one of those films where like I could tell you exactly what happens in the movie, and it wouldn't really spoil anything.
Yeah,
it's very trope heavy. It has all the like all the things you would expect in this sort of movie. Like he has his friends, and you find out that at one point you find out that he's like being flirtatious, and it's interesting because his memory is of his previous life. Like he has no memory of this version of Jack, so he has to like learn about him. Yeah. And he's like flirty with one of the other women in the neighborhood, and his friend is telling him like, "Dude, you have Kate. Everybody wants Kate. Why would you mess this thing up?" That sort of thing. So not only are you learning about Jack in this alternate reality, you kind of still see that like Jack is the same he's the same man.
Yeah.
He's still kind of a slime ball in a little bit, but he's redeemable, and that's really what you see through him interacting with his world. Is you see him finding some redemption, and at one point he actually, I think the guy just comes in. Yeah, he just comes into a business, like his business mentor that he knows from his real life, comes into the tire shop where he's working, and Jack mentions the merger because the merger he was working on took place in this alternate reality, and he talks about how he could have gotten more money because the merger wasn't worth as much as it would have been for him, and he kind of schmoozes the guy, and the guy's impressed with him, and he's like, "Well, come to my office and we'll talk about it, and we'll see if there's a place in this world for you." And he gets an opportunity to get back to his like rich, lavish lifestyle and bring Kate with him. And you think that's great, but Kate's like, "I love our life. I don't want to take my kids away and move into the city and have this life because I love our life." And so you see him having emotional, like throughout the film, he has issues with the fact that like his jacket isn't expensive, his watch isn't expensive, and he wants that expensive lifestyle, but he eventually learns the true value of having a family and all that. And obviously, with these kind of films, one day he wakes up and he's back in his old life, but he's yearning for that alternate life. Yeah. And he goes and finds Kate. Forgot to mention, the very beginning of the film, he gets a message from Kate. That's kind of what trips all this off, like that pushes it into motion. And he goes and finds Kate, and she's this high-priced lawyer, and she's moving to Paris. And he goes back to his penthouse, and he has a box full of stuff that she gave him that was his. That's why she called him. She's like, "I got your crap, come get it." And he realizes he still loves her. He sees a picture of like her and him when they were kids, and he, again, tropes, he runs to the airport, finds her, and he's like, let's have that coffee that we never had. And then the movie ends with that, with like a possibility for them in the future. Yeah. And it's just a wonderful, heartwarming film.
What is it with the name Jack? And being the sleazy commercial guy that has to have a enlightenment to to see what's good in life,
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. It's the same from the Fisher King.
Got to be something to do with the name. It's the hard K at the end, I would think.
Yeah,
It's a very masculine name for one.
I wonder if there's like a a database or something that writers have, or something, or that's something you get when you go through school. Or,
I guarantee it exists now with AI.
oh yeah,
Be like, here's my character. Here's what they're like. What's a good name for him?
yeah.
Jack.
Jack.
That, completely aside, that makes me think of a sitcom we're going through right now called Just Shoot Me. You ever heard of this?
No, no.
The main guy in it is a businessman. He's over a magazine called Blush, and it's about the people who work at the magazine. His name is Jack Gallo, and he's like the rich businessman. Jack.
I was just going back and looking at Tia Leone from that, because one of those actresses that everything I've seen her in, I always like, even like the bad Jurassic Park movie.
Mm-hmm.
She actually was kind of good in that, and
she was in a sitcom for a while. What was that?
Apparently, she comes into Only Murderers Left in the Building, apparently, but I haven't watched that far enough, and I'm not going to watch it to get to wherever she enters that one.
She was in Phone with Dick and Jane.
Yeah, I was looking too. Is she in? It's either The History of Violence or The Cooler. I can't remember. Maybe she's not in either. Who am I confusing her with?
Okay, it looks like she was the only sitcom she was in was Frasier, and she was, played the fiance of Sam Malone. Huh. I am confusing her with another actress as well.
I am too. I gotta look that up right now because my brain will be stuck. Maria Bello is who I'm confusing her with.
Let me look her up.
I think kind of same aged.
Okay, yeah.
Lady, not super identical, but I mean similar looking. I think probably plays some similar roles. Yeah. I think all the roles I was just attributing to Tia Leone are actually Maria Bello roles. So.
I'm surprised Tia Leone wasn't in more things.
Yeah, that was kind of my thought,
but it's a wonderful film. I'm just pretty much giving you the plot of the film, but I highly recommend it to anybody who.
I love Nicolas Cage movies, and just like stories like that. I think another kind of endearing one where it kind of, obviously he's done multiple movies where he shows that he can be a good drama actor. I think it's called The Weatherman.
I was going to mention that as being a film that, in my mind, they're linked. They're not, but they're linked.
That was why I think even the cover of Family Man looks a little bit like that, except he has a bow in The Weatherman, and I think that's why I was thinking maybe I had seen it at some point, but it's I don't want to sit down and watch like a movie marathon of Nick Cage drama movies, but it's nice to kind of in the same way that like when Robin Williams would do that, where he'd be in a kind of over the top comedy, but then come back and do something kind of more dramatic. It's a nice sort of change of pace for probably as an actor too. I'm sure they enjoy getting to do something outside of what everybody thinks they have to do because they get a little bit typecast.
See, in my mind, The Weatherman and The Family Man came out like right around each other, about 5 years apart, 2000 and 2005.
Yeah.
I think I probably first saw The Family Man around 2005. Yeah. The Weatherman's is a great film. Yeah. Oh, and I'd have to watch it again if we were going to do like Christmas films that aren't Christmas films, like the opposite of the Gremlin. This is a Christmas movie because it takes place at Christmas.
Yeah.
The opposite of that, where this should be a Christmas film, but it's not. It doesn't take place.
I think The Weatherman might some of the same kind of themes
apply to that. Yeah,
you probably definitely shoehorn it in there the same way I've done with the Fisher King. As a Fisher King doesn't take place at Christmas at all.
No, not at all. The thematically.
Yeah.
Thematic Christmas films.
I guess speaking of not taking place at Christmas, it would be my next one then, right? And it's Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
And this is a classic.
Yeah,
love this film.
Yeah, and we have it on a list of things to do, and it probably will be something we'd do when the whole family is here. They just came out with that documentary called "I Like Me" about John Candy.
I saw the trailer for that,
and based off of a line from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. He says that in the movie, but 1987 John Hughes movie. I don't even know that we could do that in a podcast if we could go through all the John Hughes films.
Yeah.
I guess we want to keep saying that we don't want to do this thing where we rank movies, but I guess that's another thing
Mhm.
you could do is go through and do a bunch of those. But
I like the format that we have where it's like if we're going to do John Hughes, it'll be like, all right, well, you bring a couple John Hughes films that you love, I'll bring a couple. We won't talk about all of them, just a
yeah,
few highlights.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is very much like the like Christmas Vacation for me, where there's little segments of scenes that are just kind of iconic at this point, where you've
Mm-hmm.
seen them. It starts with him trying to make the flight, missing the flight getting canceled, and then um they have to go to the first hotel where they have to actually share the room together. It's such a great scene. Um,
A lot of times comedies, and I'm thinking of like Chris Farley films right now, is it's the agent of chaos and then the straight man.
yeah,
And this is definitely one of those films. It's John Candy is definitely the
the speaking of like
agent of chaos.
the airport part of it, I just saw this clip the other day, and I guess more of this stuff has come out because of this documentary and stuff.
Yeah.
They apparently shot like 4 almost 5 hours of extra footage in different scenarios, just letting John Candy and Steve Martin kind
Like
of
riff.
riff and freelance. And I saw this footage didn't get included in the movie of them at the airport where John Candy is sitting there. He has this big chili dog and a cigarette, and he's doing it live. I mean, he's like smoking a cigarette, and as soon as he does, he's like eating the hot dog, and there's cigarette smoke coming out. Um, like a bean from the chili falls off of the hot dog and lands on his chest, and he just like nobody breaks scene or anything. He throws his tie up over the thing, and he like looks, and he's telling this guy that's over by like a trash can in the airport. He's like, "Scoot over, move." He's just gesturing to him to do it. He flicks the bean, and it goes into the trash can, and he actually makes the shot.
That's
And
great.
and they all are just like Steve Martin keeps a straight face through this whole thing. I was like, how in the world did you keep that together?
Jeez.
I was like, that just happened. It was like he flicked the bean.
So that tells me they probably could have formed together an entire film just out of that one scene.
Or it could have just
Yeah.
been an airport movie and
Yeah.
never even
Just
left.
planes.
And it always kind of caught me off guard because you have
terminal.
this kind of like funny stuff and typical kind of John Hughes kind of comedy goes back to the scene at the hotel, and they get into that argument, and it's like it becomes like really emotional really quick, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, okay, where's this film going? The first time you see it, and that is kind of laying the groundwork for the fact that it is coming back around to a really kind of emotional, sad scenario at the end. But after the hotel and the hand between the butt cheeks and those aren't pillows. They go to the train. That's probably still my favorite sequence there when they come outside and this guy, so and so's cousin, is going to give him a ride to the train. The guy gets out of that like just beat up truck and he's got like a chew in, and he's I'm not gonna try to do it here. In between like talking, he like snorts. He's like Steve Martin's face and Johnny Candy, and that had to be another thing that was just improvised where they're watching him do that and just reacting to it like, yeah, okay. And then like they try to pick up John Candy, through the whole film has this big trunk that he's always having to haul around. They're gonna pick it up and put it in the trunk, and he kicks the truck, and the this little tiny lady comes out, and he's like, "Get your ass out here!" And they're like, "No, we can." I think she's even pregnant too, isn't she?
I think so.
And it's like, "Oh, don't worry about her. She's tough. Her first baby come out sideways. She didn't scream or nothing." Like John Candy's just like, "I ain't that something." It's like they go from there. They go to the bus ride. They rent the car. Go the wrong way on the interstate. The car catches on fire. They ride around in the burn up car, get back to another hotel. They're at that point they're bonded and laughing and all that stuff. That's another favorite line of mine is that where they're laughing in the hotel after riding in the car. He's like, "I'm afraid to go look at my ass. I think I'm gonna look like a whopper and have those little griddle marks on my ass." Get back in another truck, get back to Chicago. He leaves him on the train, and you just shift right back into, oh yeah, by the way, my wife's dead, and I'm just a homeless guy that basically just travels around and sells shower curtain rings and just sleeps in bus stations and train stations, and really really interesting. If first time you see it, it was really kind of hit you, and still it does now because you always know that's the whole underlying thing with the story. Um, the thing that always bothered me with that movie, and a lot of people was like, "Oh, it's my favorite scene," is that for it being a family movie, you have that thing where he goes to get his rental car. There's no car there. He has to walk back to the airport,
Very, that,
and he lights into that
yeah,
lady
it's pretty foul.
and says the F word probably 30 times.
Yeah.
He's like, "I want my effing car right effing now," and she's like, "Yeah, you're effed." I always hated that when you tried to like you wanted to show this to family members and like this is a good family movie, and it's like there's some people that would completely like be very unhappy with you showing that to their
Yeah.
kids. And yeah, I've always tried to kind of navigate. How do you work around that scene? It's like, do you just skip it, or what's the thing to do? Is it was so out of place in that movie? I never understood the inclusion of that. I guess I never even looked at it. Did that make it get an R rating?
Oh, yeah, it has to absolutely be an R
Had to
because of
be.
that. But I'm thinking there's got to be a TV edit. There has to be a TV edit.
Yeah. Uh, that's probably funny if you can find like those early like where they would dub those old.
I mean,
Like,
we'll watch this. I have it right here. The Planes, Trains. It's on YouTube. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. An effing car scene movie clips. We'll see if we can find the.
he might just say effing or something.
Yeah,
It'd be better if
it might be it.
it'd be better if they. I
Say
love those old
effing.
movies where they like replace it with a word that makes no sense at all, like honking or something.
Yeah,
I want my honking car, right? Honking now.
the edited TV version. We'll absolutely watch this. We'll,
I'm curious. And that's
yeah.
I've said
We,
that before about the Big Lebowski. That's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Is like the whole. You see what happens when you. I don't even want to like outline what that phrase was, but when you screw somebody over and it turned and they changed it for TV when you find a stranger in the Alps. It's like, how in the world?
That's great.
How did y'all get to that?
I've never seen this is out of left field, but I've never seen the Deadpool edit where it's I forget what it's called. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where they like
so.
Oh goodness, let me look that up real quick. They edited the first Deadpool down to make it PG-13.
How in the world did they get it to PG-13?
Well, that's why I've never Once Upon a Deadpool. That's
Oh no, I remember that coming out. That was a theater release.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yeah. And it was like Deadpool was telling the story of Deadpool. And I remember before it came out, people were like, well, how are you going to get away with that? And my thought was, for Deadpool specifically, well, if you censor him, it'd be funny if he noticed you censoring him and he commented on it.
Yeah.
I don't know if he does it in the film. I've never taken the time to watch it.
I've never seen it either. I was just thinking like bad guys get like thrown up and splattered against like road signs and stuff. I'm like, I don't think you can edit that down to PG-13. But
maybe we should watch it. In my looking for Christmas films and looking at what Christmas films are out there, this didn't even come across. I didn't even think about this.
That might be a good January film.
Yeah.
Post-Christmas film.
I haven't seen Deadpool in a while, so.
Yeah. As much as Marvel has just become a thing that just makes me recoil when somebody says it, I really did enjoy the first movie, and I'd be completely down for that. Yeah, Planes, Trains. I think my mom actually was saying, I don't think, somehow or another, if my mom doesn't remember seeing it or has not seen it,
Okay.
that she came home from church and saying that the pastor was telling everybody at church, if you have not seen it, and she was acting like most of the people in church had not seen it.
Really? Wow.
And I was like, what's happened? Yeah. It's like all these films that are these classic films is like it's like this.
I mean,
has everybody died off that enjoyed these, or is it just it's just the old and the young maybe are on the two edges of the groups of people that are missing these things or something? And I had the same thought when she said that the pastor was telling everybody it's a great Christmas film, you should go watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I was like, I wonder if he happened to tell them about the airport
TV edit.
Yeah. So
I don't know.
There are some people in her generation that would lose their mind on that scene, and that might be why we never really watched it because I had it on VHS tape. Mm-hmm. My VHS tape purchases at the time were going to our local Video Vision, as our little locally owned store. When they took something out of rotation, they'd have them in a box and they'd be for sale for like $3 or $4. Mm-hmm. And I would buy a used tape that still had the Video Vision sticker on it because you couldn't peel it off because they were unpeelable. I think I had that, and I think I never watched it with them because I knew about that scene, and that was like that dirty little secret that when I watched that movie, it's like I'm gonna watch this movie before I get to hear them say the F word 45 times in 10 seconds. But caveat on that one as a Christmas movie is that when he gets back to the airport with the lady that voiced Mrs. Puff in SpongeBob, um, if you get kids around, maybe just mute that or skip it or skip the scene. You're not missing anything narratively other than she didn't help him get another rental car.
I don't know with films today, that particular, especially with the younger generation, I don't know how much that's going to actually affect them anymore.
Yeah, no,
there's a lot more on just like basic shows now.
We'll come back into my opening thing. These films are a reminder that we were a great country once. It should be something that bothers people.
It should be.
That's part of the path to getting back there, I think.
And I've mentioned before how I see desensitization that has happened with me, and how like this kind of film would definitely be a film I'd recommend my grandmother, who's deceased now, but like she would watch this and enjoy it and get to that scene and then come at me and be like, why are you having me watch this filth? I'm like, sorry, Grandma, I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
Anything else about that? Well, let's go ahead and take a break because I'm eager to see the made-for-TV version of this.
Yeah.
So we'll take a break. We'll be back and
let's eat our pies.
We're going to talk about Fatman.
I want some pie.
There you go.
I can't do a Cartman.
We'll be back. So the edited for TV version of that scene in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles was interesting.
Yeah, it's not as creative as Find a Stranger in the Alps, but
right.
They replace a couple words and then they just really just dub over some of it, just remove it. I think where he's F-bombing, he's like naming brands of cars, like I want a Datsun
or a Buick or a Nissan. So it seems like either they just did a completely new dub or maybe it was like alternate takes or whatever.
I think there was a little bit of a alternate take mixed in with it too.
The most foul it got was at the end when the clerk says, "You're screwed."
Yeah.
And the edited for TV version makes the clerk seem just very unhelpful.
Yeah.
The regular version, you're like, well, it's understandable that she would react that way because he's being very rude to her.
Yeah.
But he's just he's frustrated, but he's not rude to her at all.
Yeah.
I mean, even if he was saying like freaking or effing, that would have been, it would have made more sense that she was frustrated at him saying that to her.
I'd love to be in charge of doing that. I know cable is a dying thing.
Yeah.
I'd love to be the guy that gets to come up with the words to redub a movie. I'd have that into an art form by now.
I'm sure people have had very entertaining careers doing just that.
Yeah.
All right. So we also had our dessert.
Yeah.
Which was just sugar on sugar on sugar on sugar.
Well, what more can you say about a gas station fruit pie?
Yeah. Made with real fruit.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
I'm sure that helps. So the next film we're going to talk about is going to be Fatman with Mel Gibson.
That's one of those movies that had been around for a while, and I've seen it, and I don't know why I would resist watching it. Mm-hmm. And I finally watched it the other day, I think because you had mentioned it for this, and I'm like, I'll go ahead and watch it so at least I know what it's about. It actually was really good. I like that movie.
It was close to, after I finished, like while I was watching it, I was like, this may be one of my top Christmas films.
Yeah.
After watching it, it's good. I have some narrative issues that I had to take with it, but
the thing about it is like you're watching it and you kind of get wrapped into, at least first, I've only watched it once. First time watching it, you kind of get pulled into it. It's like, man, this is like a really good, like just little action movie. Mm-hmm. And you forget that the whole thing is based on Christmas and a little rich kid hiring a hitman because he got coal.
Yeah, he got coal for Christmas. So he has this hitman already. And early in the film, the little kid, he's like, his family's away and he's by himself with his grandmother. And they show him at like a science fair and he has all these first place blue ribbons. And this girl wins first place over him. and this hitman played by was it Walton Goggins?
Walton Goggins
kidnaps this little girl and brings her to this basement, and this little boy who looks like Ben Shapiro essentially threatens to torture her to get her to say that she cheated so he could get the first prize ribbon. And that was a great character moment, and I was surprised.
I thought the exact same thing the first time. I was like, who is this kid? Why is he? I was like, he really does remind me of Ben Shapiro.
Why does he look like Ben Shapiro? And I was surprised they went there. I mean, this movie wasn't made very long ago. Was it 2018? Or was it more recent than that?
It's pretty recent. But it's also made by Mel Gibson, and I think he's one of those
True,
ones.
he did 2020.
He's one of those ones that if somebody's going to come in and say, "Oh, you can't do that," he'll be like,
"Watch me,
hold my beer."
But yeah, the fact that they had a child threatening to torture another child with like a car battery and electrodes
over ribbons for a science fair project.
Ribbons for a science fair project. That was I was taken aback at this scene. And so the basic premise of the situation with Mel Gibson's character, Chris Kringle, Santa Claus, is apparently the whole shtick with Santa Claus is it's for like economic stimulus. So government subsidize Santa Claus to give gifts to kids to stimulate the economy during Christmas time.
Yeah.
And it only involved the American government. I got the idea it was like he would have contracts with other governments.
Yeah.
But the issue is kids aren't good anymore and they don't believe in him anymore. So he's not giving enough presents out to like make his quota to get the amount of money he needs to keep operations running.
It's a really clever just idea for a movie. And
the thing I really enjoyed about it is they played everything completely straight.
Oh yeah.
There are other films.
I could have watched this and been like, this wasn't about Santa Claus and a Christmas movie, it would have been just a good movie. If it was a revenge thing, some guy hires a hitman to go get this guy. It would have been a good movie just based off of whatever premise that wasn't tied at all to Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
But
they never do the thing with a lot of movies that involve Santa Claus. They kind of nudge and wink at the audience, like, right. They don't really do that. They show the sleigh, like at one point he leaves Christmas Eve, and you don't see him like fly off into the sky. You just know he went to work.
Yeah.
And that's all just left up to the imagination. He comes back, he's bleeding because a couple of kids shot him with.
He's got a board he's got to replace because there's a couple of bullet holes in the bottom. Because like there's kids that were shot at me when I flew over, and it's like.
And his sleigh, the only time you see his sleigh is when he's repairing it, and it's just a wooden sleigh. You know, a lot of modern depictions of Santa, they want to be like, well, he has special technology. No, they don't try to explain anything.
I don't remember there's one part in it, and again, I've only watched this thing once, so I wasn't recording too much of it to memory.
Yeah, same here.
That there's an interaction with a deer where the deer like kind of comes at the guy and sort of like headbutts him or something. It's like, you should be glad that like wasn't Prancer. He would have bit your nuts off. It says it straight. It's not comedy at all. It's just like, you better be glad it wasn't the other deer. That deer would have killed you. It's like, wow, okay.
I was a little surprised that they actually had elves, because in the very beginning, I wasn't sure if they were even going to show that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they show the factory with all the elves, and they kind of get into like, and this is the one part where they kind of get explanatory, where they have military men talking to the elves about their diet and how the elves are just eating just candy and sugar and everything.
Guys like, y'all should eat protein and like all this stuff.
And the elf is like, well, that's why humans don't live as long as us. They sleep. What do they say? They like work for 8 hours and sleep for 20 minutes or something like that. And that way they can work 24 hours a day.
They eat sugar.
Yeah, they're very, very interesting. Eventually the Christmas, the Santa Claus organization, the factory, does take a military contract, and it's for like panels in an airplane. That's what they're building for like the first 2 months of the year, so they can have enough money to
the military has figured out that like the elf shop is like the most like efficient place in the world to get something made. Which
I'm kind of surprised they weren't guns.
Yeah,
that's kind of where it seemed like it was going.
Yeah.
but that was maybe that was a little concession in the writing room or whatever. But that, yeah, all like I said, all of that was played completely straight. None of no winks, no aside from a few jokes. But again, the jokes are still played straight.
Yeah.
Walter Goggins' character, he is told by Billy, the little Ben Shapiro looking kid, to kill the fat man, and he's just straight. All right, I'm gonna kill Santa. Like there's no.
And isn't his character isn't he just called the Skinny Man?
I guess so. I don't know. Let me see.
I think so. I thought that was another
Fat Man, Skinny Man.
Fat Man and Skinny Man.
Let's see, Fat Man 2020. I just kept calling him the Hitman.
It seems like maybe
Skinny Man, yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
just
so
Skinny-
Fat
yeah.
Man, Skinny Man.
I
That's
can't remember
fine.
if I saw that in the credits or if say they actually call him that at some point.
Mhm.
But yeah,
But he drives up to he needs to find Santa. Like it's one of these things where he doesn't question whether or not Santa exists. He's just like, well, I gotta find this guy. So he calls like the northernmost town he can find in the yellow pages, I guess, or
Yeah.
on the internet, and he just calls them and be like, hey, I need a listing. He like calls their information. I need a listing for Christopher Kringle, and they just like hang up on him. So
like he actually finds like a postal worker that has delivered stuff out to his property or something, right?
Well, he asks at the beginning. He asks a postal worker like, "Well, where do the letters to Santa go?" That's his lead.
Yeah.
And he kills the postal worker. Takes this guy's
that's right.
This guy's horrible. He just kills the postal worker just to take his vehicle. Drives to the post office. Talks to the supervisor. Like, where do the Santa letters go? And he's like, I just send them to a PO box. Well, what's the PO box? Write it down. He's holding the gun on him.
Yeah.
And then he kills him. Like it's this wet work that he has to cover his tracks. And one of the things I thought was really interesting is that they felt the need to give him any kind of humanity in the little hamster.
Yeah. That
was a really interesting thing to even have in the film.
Yeah.
I felt like that wasn't paid off at the end.
Yeah, I think even my wife was watching it with me too, and she thought the same thing. It was like there's gonna be something about the hamster. It's gonna be like what redeems the guy or saves him or something. And it's like didn't ever come back around.
Nope. You see the hamster at the end, but it's just okay. Now they have the hamster.
Yeah, I think it's like Santa Claus is taking care of it.
Mm-hmm.
I love a lot of the quotes from this thing too. I think when they're actually fighting, the Skinny Man says, "I've come for you. I've come for your head, fat man." And his response is, "You think you're the first?"
Yeah.
He's like, "You think I got this job because I'm fat and jolly?" I was like, "That's a great line." I was like, "If you want to make Santa Claus is like this guy, like this embattled guy that's had people coming for him, trying to kill him all of his life." I was like, I love that line.
Well, in the very beginning, it shows him just shooting a gun for target practice. So it does set him up as somebody who has been in battles at some point.
And it kind of makes a good point too about how the things that people think Santa Claus can do for them and stuff. That he again, when they're having this like sort of battle at the end, and the Skinny Man says, "The only thing you ever gave me was this little car, and all those letters I wrote you." And he's like, he tells him, like, "I'm sorry, son. There are limits of what I can do. I couldn't replace your parents."
Yeah.
And that's the whole idea, is the Skinny Man has become this awful guy because his parents were like abusive and awful and all this stuff.
And same with Billy. Billy's a horrible child because his parents are nowhere around and he has no guidance or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was a surprisingly heartwarming film.
Yeah, and the theme, I guess it's a consistently themed thing, and it doesn't go all over the place. Like we were talking about that when we were talking about the Running Man last time. I was like, you just can never get in. I can never get into the movie because it just seemed like it was just changing everything every time you turned around. You could tell this is like a one singular vision. They decided to shoot it in this tone. It really was. I wouldn't even say like a John Wick tone, but definitely sort of like a revenge action. Just shot it like that kind of movie. And just the whole backstory is just that this is Kris Kringle and a little bratty kid that wants to kill him. And
I like the scene where Billy's talking to the Skinny Man, and he's like, "I want his head," and he's like, "I'm not bringing you his head. I'm paying you well to bring me his head. Heads rot. It's gonna stink. I'm not bringing a head across Canada," because he's driving across Canada to get to this northern town.
He's like, "Bring me his beard." He's like, I'm not shaving the beard off a dead man.
It's like, how about his jacket?
So
All
just
right,
bring me his
fine.
jacket. Definitely worth a rewatch.
Mhm.
Um,
Oh, I'll definitely watch it again.
it
It's
might be worth a purchase and owning that one. I have to watch it again and see if I enjoyed as much the second time,
mhm.
because it really was sort of a. I'm watching this because it's a thing. I had no
We're going to talk
expectations
about
of
it.
had no expectations of it being anything, especially being anything good, and kind of thought it would be more of a kind of goofy comedy type thing. And it really wasn't. It was a solid it was just a solid little like small world action film.
And I definitely think that it had more the different tones and being a tight film. I think this is the kind of film that I think should be taught because it is. It has a plot,
Mm-hmm.
and the plot is contained and it's focused, and like you're saying, it doesn't meander. And also the cinematography. I love the cinematography in it.
Yeah.
It's nothing special specifically. It's just not this like
Yeah.
flatly lit thing that you see
Yeah.
in a lot of
It's
films
not like
nowadays.
somebody shooting some little cheap thing on their phone,
Yeah,
but it's also not some overblown, washed out, everything's super colorful John Wick type environment either. It's just it kind of portrays the farm as this little place up north that's it's a small farm with a workshop.
yeah,
Probably worth
it's great.
commenting on it too. So many people have to focus on like racial things and representation in movies and stuff. And I always say this, like, I don't care if you change something if the actor is good and the role is written well. Is that Mrs. Claus in this as a black lady?
Hmm.
And I was thinking it was the one from Suicide Squad at first, but it's a different lady. Um,
It's Marianne Jean Baptiste.
yeah, I'd seen her in
She plays Ruth.
something else, but like I mean, good lord, probably one of the best portrayals of like a Mrs. Claus I've ever
Hmm.
seen in a movie. She's just like this supportive lady, and she knows the deal. She knows what her husband has to do. She knows that they have to sometimes fight people because people come trying to kill him. And I think she even like did she carry like a musket?
Yeah, oh yeah,
It kind of just
oh
shows
yeah.
again like
No,
one of
she's just as ready as he is when they hear because they're in bed when the attack actually happens, and they all the military men start dying, and he pulls out this case and puts it on the bed, and it's a really great scene where he opens up this case and he's like assembling his gun, and she's taking stuff and he's taking stuff, and they're working in conjunction, getting prepared for this, and
the
it shows you that okay, these are partners. Yeah, it was a great scene.
little thing too about how they kind of demonstrate without having to just lay it out for you that these guys have been around forever.
Mhm.
I think one of the times he's outside fighting, he's got like an old like Civil War era revolver in one hand, and he's got like a little semi-automatic modern day pistol in the other. One of the weapons that she has is like a pirate's like musket,
Yeah,
like a single black powder pistol, and it's just
that's good environmental storytelling there.
yeah. And I love it when people don't waste time doing something they don't need to do, and they can just sort of demonstrate. How do we tell people, these guys have been around for hundreds of years? It's like, give them a weapon from three different eras. Okay, that was easy.
A good character building moment for those two is like in the very beginning. He's Christmas Eve night. He's going off to do his Santa Claus stuff, and he's all bundled up. And he walks out the door, and she's like, "You forgetting something?" And he's like, "Oh yeah." He gives her a kiss, and she's like, "No, I'm taking this." And she takes a flask from him, and he's like, "But it's cold out here." And she goes, "How about some hot chocolate?"
Yeah.
Throughout the movie, he's always like sneaking cookies. It's just it's a wonderful. I thought it was a wonderful take on the idea of well, what if Chris Kingle actually existed?
I've,
How would he be?
I've seen different portrayals, and we'll talk about one later in whichever service. I guess that'll be the coffee service
Mm-hmm.
of Santa Claus being more of a kind of a warrior type character. Not always just some little fat dude, but like a very physically capable guy who's seen some things. In one of the animes, I've seen a lot of attempts at it, and this is probably one of the better ones that I've seen. I mean, and it kind of suggests too that these guys are immortal or something along those lines. Because I mean, he takes a shot to the head,
Yeah, shot to
and
the eye.
yeah, and like once he goes back to see the
Ruth,
kid, he's got like an eye patch on, and he's
yeah,
still healing.
Ruth comes out to him and she's like, "Give him a minute, he'll be okay."
Yeah,
Yeah,
even
so
she
there's
gets
definitely something going on.
when he gets Santa Claus gets like shot up close by a skinny man. She gets into a gunfight with him,
Mm-hmm.
and when she's running away, she gets shot a couple
Mm-hmm.
times. She kind of gets hit in the back, and my wife say no, and I was like, I think it's okay. I think
She's fine.
they're elves. I don't think you can kill them with bullets. And there's just a fun. I definitely need to watch that
Yeah.
again. I'm it's kind of on my kind of sneaking onto my radar. The more I think about it, it's like I think I need to get a copy of that. It's like I like to have a
I was interested
like.
solely because of Mel Gibson.
Oh
I,
yeah,
I like what he does, and I think he's one of those actors where if he does something, there's going to be a certain quality to it.
yeah.
But that's never 100% of all the time. And I gave this chance because of Mel Gibson, and I'm glad I did. I think it was.
I think I was annoyed by him because of all those Lethal Weapon movies that came out, and they
Mhm.
just kept coming out. And it was one of those things as sequels came out and things became popular. I've always kind of drifted away from them. I like things to be something that I'm not a bandwagon guy, I guess is the way to say it. And kind of really didn't pay a lot of attention to him. You see little press stories and stuff trying to like portray him as some crazy guy and all this stuff. What really changed my opinion on him was, and it's probably a year or two old at this point, and of course you have to have time to do a 3 hour podcast, is he was on Rogan, and listening to him talk on Rogan was like, kind of wish I'd been paying more attention to him earlier. And I really, he's a very interesting guy, very intelligent, very relatable to people my age.
He taught. You should look up some of his talks about when this was back when he first started to get. I don't know if "cancel" is the right word. Ostracized from Hollywood.
Yeah, well, he made
He
a film
was
about Jesus, so I
he
guess
was
that was
talk
automatic.
he was talking about how corrupt Hollywood is and how it's
Yeah,
just a bunch of evil, vile people who are making all these things. And he's a very, very staunch Catholic, and like he's like Irish Catholic, like he's
yeah,
very Catholic,
yeah.
and he's making a series, a TV series about the Battle of Malta. So
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah,
that's gonna be interesting.
yeah. Any of the military stuff that he's been involved in has always been really well done.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think he's also doing, I think, a follow up to The Passion,
Mm-hmm.
and he's
Yeah,
actually getting Jim Caviezel back to do that again too. So I'm very interested to see that.
I mean we kind of know what happens, but okay. Spoiler.
Yeah, books a little better than the movie, I guess.
Yeah. I've been a fan of his since, like, thinking back when me as an individual was like, I like this guy, was like Forever Young. Like,
Oh yeah,
this was
yeah,
years ago.
yeah.
I mean, I was pretty young when I first saw that, and I, pretty much since then, if he's in a film, I'm gonna at least pay attention to it.
Oh, I was talking with somebody again about Christian movies and things like that, and like, well, they talk about this Christian movie. I might have been that mom out at the nursing home where they show a movie there. I think they showed The Passion here a while back. I was like, I watched a little bit of that, and I
I
got
mean,
up
it's
and
violent.
left. I was like, that's
Yeah,
the point, mom.
that's the point. Yeah.
It's to show you what he endured and what they did to him. It wasn't to. It's not a sit down with the family and
Mm.
let's all have a good time watching this. It's
So have you ever seen Payback?
a long time ago.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite film of his. I was gonna say, if you hadn't seen it, we might put it in the fortune cookies.
I don't, as much as I've kind of fallen out of favor with M. Night Shyamalan, I
Hmm.
love the movie Signs,
Signs was great. Yeah,
and probably mostly
Si-
because of him in it.
Signs was great for me after I saw it. Some movies you have to watch it first so you know what it is to appreciate it.
Yeah,
Signs was one of those. Like,
it's
the
got a
first time
little,
I saw it, I was like, it's okay.
it's got a little Shyamalan cheese in it, but
Yeah, but
the
I've watched it maybe 4 or 5 times,
yeah,
and each time I watch it, I enjoy it more.
his character is
Absolutely.
great in that.
And I feel like Fatman is probably going to be that same kind of situation. As I enjoyed it the first time I watched it. I think the next time I watch it, I'm going to enjoy it even more. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm putting it in rotation.
Alrighty,
All right. Speaking of rotations, this is obviously in yours.
this would be the one that my wife would have thrown in.
Okay.
Actually, I was kind of talking about movies and going through that, and she's like, "What about mixed nuts?" I'm like, "I always forget about mixed nuts," and it's not like it really is one that's kind of more. She and I enjoy watching it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think our family has watched it as a family, but it's not like let's go back and watch that again kind of thing.
Yeah, there
But
was a couple of actors from the '80s. I'm thinking John Candy. I'm thinking Steve Martin, Martin Short. Like they would do films that were family friendly. Then they'd do films that weren't.
yeah,
So it's not like you like Robin Williams. Pretty much if it was a Robin Williams film, it was probably okay for the family.
yeah, yeah.
His stand up was very raunchy, but his films were
This one
good.
is okay for the family. It's just not like a. It's not so rewatchable that it's like every year like we got to get
Okay.
mixed nuts out.
See, I've never seen this. This is one of those films like I recognize the cover. I remember hearing about it. I probably have even seen clips like
There,
on TV and stuff.
it
But
really is probably like scenes or what we were attracted to in rewatching it.
yeah,
Um, 1994 film. It really is more like a sitcom that somebody just made a movie out of. But I mean, it's a standalone movie, and it revolves around the lifesavers, which is like Steve Martin and a couple of people that run a suicide hotline at Christmas time. Excuse me, and they're getting evicted, and it's just this whole caper of a couple that's fighting all the time and is pregnant that comes to their office. Let me pull the cast up. Um,
I'll keep talking. I'll pull it up.
I've got it here because
Oh, okay.
I've got to have it handy to see. Lee Schreiber
Oh yeah.
um, plays a cross-dressing guy who tries to claim that he's suicidal, but he just wants people to talk to, and he wants to dress up like a woman and kind of test out how much he can pull that off. And if you see Lee Schreiber in this dress, it looks it's the perfect parody of that whole situation. Lee Schreiber is really cut and built in this
Yeah.
movie, and he's a big
He's
guy
a big man
anyway.
anyway.
But he was probably in good shape on purpose for this movie, and is terrifying in a dress and drag, but trying to act like he'll stub his toe and he tries to overreact to everything. And
Does
somebody,
this all take place like in that apartment?
yeah, yeah,
I have seen this
yeah,
years ago, probably like in the '90s.
and it's one of those things. It's just so goofy, but I mean, just I don't know what prompts these people. If it really is just friends of people or friends of a director that he's like, hey, I've got this idea. Will you guys come do this? This is this cast. It's Steve Martin, Adam
Adam
Sandler,
Sandler.
Madeline Kahn, Juliette Lewis, Liev Schreiber, Robert Klein, Anthony LaPaglia, Rita Wilson, that's Tom Hanks' wife, Rob Reiner, Jon Stewart, Jolie Fisher, Parker Posey, Gary Shandling, Haley Joel Osment. I mean, it's like if you tried to make a movie with three of these people, under most circumstances, it would probably bankrupt you. And there's this little low budget movie that they all just jump into, and the it really is kind of one of those character movies where this is young Adam Sandler still doing the Saturday Night Live singing on a ukulele,
Mm-hmm.
doing that bit and just working it into the movie. Um, Madeline Kahn, I don't think it wasn't her last movie. She died about 6 or 7 years after this, I think. But one of my all time favorite actresses, just hilarious. She died young too. She died in '99, and she was only 57 when she died.
Oh
She had
wow.
I can't remember if she had pancreas or some other kind of cancer. But this was kind of one of the last movies that I ever saw her in. She did a few other things after this. Um, just such a goofy movie. Um,
It looks like it was Liev Schreiber's first film,
oh wow,
and it
okay,
was Adam Sandler's first role in a Sony Pictures movie.
okay.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, he was really kind of riding the. I, I did this little funny bit on Saturday Night Live thing through the whole movie, but it's funny in this movie. Um,
This would be, and yeah, it's not. It's not explicitly not a family Christmas movie, but yeah, I wouldn't say this is one that you pull out with the family. This is
yeah,
something you would watch.
the whole it's like this whole little goofy caper of all these characters
Yeah.
interacting and stuff, and it's all kind of centered around. This is like in I don't know if it's in L.A. or San Francisco. It's by the beach. I think it might be like at Venice Beach or something. Um, this whole scenario of there's a seaside strangler that's killing people and terrorizing the neighborhood, and that plays back into the story. I won't spoil that part of it. Um, but I mean, it's by the end of the movie, I think they're trying to hide a body, and they have like they're carrying a Christmas tree, and she's pregnant and stuff. And I think at one point they stop and it actually is recreating like the image of the nativity.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a bunch of little stuff like that. And
It's a remake of a French comedy, Santa Claus is a Stinker from 1982. The literal translation, Santa Claus is garbage.
yeah, so is France.
Yeah.
I
But
was
it's
gonna say I'd like to see the original film, but nah, if it's a French movie, nah.
but it's interesting because you were like the way it's filmed, like you were saying, it seems like there's a lot of maybe like people that the director or writer knows, and they're kind of doing them a favor. Hey, can you come be in this film?
Yeah,
we're gonna film in a couple of weeks and
yeah.
that sort of thing.
I
But the
thought it
fact that
was
it's a remake,
I thought it was like a Rob Reiner film, but
yeah,
it was a younger lady that made the film. Um, I guess it's probably that whole group of people that Rob Reiner's been a pretty powerful director over the years. I think he has that sort of network of people that had probably worked under him, sort of like a Spielberg had. And,
let's see,
yeah,
Nora
Nora.
Ephron is her name,
Yeah.
and she wrote My Blue Heaven. That's When Harry Met Sally.
Okay.
Wow. So
So she's worked with Steve Martin.
Sleepless in Seattle. She wrote that movie Michael.
Okay.
About the angel.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see, and she's directed 8 films. You've Got Mail, Michael, Mixed Nuts, Sleepless in Seattle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just
I forget. I was such a long cast of people.
Mhm.
Stephen Wright is in this thing. That really just dull,
we have to
monotone
look him up.
comedian
I'm
guy.
not sure.
He's the guy that's he's the radio DJ in Reservoir Dogs.
Okay, yeah.
He's got that like I went to the. He's the one that talks about like going to the dentist's office, but he eats a box of Oreos for a cleaning, so he gets his money's worth and all that. It's that kind of like an earlier version of Mitch Hedberg, that kind of comedy. But it is a fun watch if you've not seen it.
Absolutely. I need to rewatch it. It's been so long. I'll probably suggest that this weekend.
Yeah. And it is kind of hard to find sometimes. It really bounces. I think that's sometimes why we miss it, because I don't think we have a copy of it. And trying to find it on streaming services, sometimes it's just not on one. I think streaming services with these lower budget movies, they just sort of, if they come in a bundle, that might be how they pick them up or something.
We're talking about the internet being useless.
Yeah, nah.
Because like I just said, I just Googled where to watch Mixed Nuts, and it's like Netflix. I guarantee if I click Netflix, it'll be like
I've stopped
unavailable.
I've stopped trying to do that because it seems like that's never right.
Mm-mm.
I'll be like, oh, it's awesome. You can see it on Tubi, and you go to Tubi, and it's not there. It's like, why did Google just say it's on Tubi? And I don't know what it bases. I guess at some point it probably was on Tubi, and that's how the internet's probably putting together that little list. But
well, Netflix also not only has regional differences in their library. That's been that way for a while. Now they have like tiers where if you pay for like the ad supported version of Netflix, you're not going to get all the movies, which is
fun story on Juliette Lewis. She's one of my sort of celebrity crushes.
Yeah, it's not Netflix.
I know she's probably insane, and you probably wouldn't want to sit down and talk with her. But she was at Raleigh GalaxyCon, I think, when we were vending down there, and had a corner booth. I went down there once just to see if she was there and how busy the line was and stuff. And she wasn't in her booth. And I'm like, I'm not going. There's a long ways to get across that hall, and it's crowded. I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I went for a bathroom break, and when that's like, I'm down here, I'm going to swing by and see. And she had a line of people there, but it was right on the corner. And I was there in like my black bibs and like a Godzilla shirt, looking like I always do. And I came around the corner just kind of looking to see if she was there and whatever it was about my appearance. Like she stopped what she was doing and she talked with the person that was at her booth and like looked up at me and like sort of locked eyes with me. And I was kind of looking back at her and I nodded and she nodded. And I was like, I just kept on walking. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I've met Juliette Lewis now. But I don't know. Maybe in some alternate fantasy world, she's into old guys with beards.
She played in Strange Days.
Yeah. Starting back with Christmas Vacation.
Yeah.
I think that's probably where I first knew her from. But actually, I know where I first knew her from and didn't realize it until I've been rewatching it on Hulu. Is that she was Wayne's girlfriend in the Wonder Years. And I saw her like in an episode the other night, and I was like, is that Juliette Lewis? And then she finally turns around. Of course, once you see her face, it's like, well, yes, of course, that's Juliette Lewis. But yeah, Mixed Nuts is It's a fun one if you have not seen it. Um, if you have teenage kids, it's fine for the family. There's nothing
Yeah,
like super crude and stuff, though.
I would say like 15 and older.
Yeah. In 1994, you could still make fun of guys in dresses,
Mhm.
and people weren't like ready to destroy your whole life because you did. But the that sort of trope of that character and that is really funny. That's interesting that that was Liev Schreiber's like first film, and
Yeah.
that's the role that he got. But it's that probably one of the he and Madeline Kahn are really the funny parts of that movie. Madeline Kahn gets stuck in an elevator with like a little, I think she was getting a gift for maybe a grandkid or something. They had like a little keyboard, and they can't get her out of this elevator. It's one of those elevators that's like in the center of the building, like with a cage all around it, so
Hmm.
you can see it. And at one point, she's just like she gets the keyboard out and she's like playing on the keyboard and like making up songs and stuff, and it's hilarious. It's Madeline Kahn's the Mel Brooks lady from Young Frankenstein and Blazing Saddles and History of the World. Did most of his movies. Um, had to have been a stage actor too, because I mean she's got that Broadway singing voice. She sings in a lot of the Mel Brooks things too. Um, yeah, it's ovarian cancer.
Yeah, she died of cancer. Okay.
It stinks.
Yeah.
She's one of those ones, those ladies that's like probably was really pushing the envelope for what was acceptable for a lady to do in comedy at the
Hmm.
time, but also really attractive lady on top of it too, which kind of makes her a double positive as far as I'm concerned. She was funny, creative, could sing, beautiful woman. There's a lot of pluses.
All right. Well, let's move on to the next.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll talk just very briefly about two films. I'll just mush them together because it's the pretty much thematically it's the same. I want to say the same thing about both. It's A Wonderful Life and Miracle on 34th Street. To me, these are the quintessential Christmas films.
Oh yeah.
These are the films that, growing up, I remember being on the TV every year. These are the films that we were talking about just going like through cable or through the television channels. They're always on somewhere.
I don't think I'd actually seen A Wonderful Life until probably 3 or 4 years ago.
Really? Okay.
Was
What
what
caused you to see it?
um I think we watched it here as a family.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things. One of the kids brought it up or something, and maybe one of them had already watched it.
Hmm.
And I was like, I think I said to them, I was like, I don't think I've ever actually seen that. And they're like, Are you serious? I'm like, I'm pretty sure not. I was like, I've seen all the clips of it. It's like
Right.
there's clips of it in Christmas, in A Christmas Vacation. There's clips of it in hundreds of other movies, and
The reason I saw it, uh, the full thing without the clips and whatnot, like you were saying, you see parts of it throughout our culture. I remember watching Gremlins and being like, "What movie's that?" Because it like looked familiar.
yeah,
And I was like a young teen, and I explicitly went out to watch It's a Wonderful Life because, like I said, you catch clips of it going through like the TV channel and stuff like that. But yeah, since that, it's been since I watched it all the way through. It's definitely a staple. It's not every year,
yeah,
but it is a staple that I like to go back to time and time again.
yeah.
And
Yeah, it's one of
with
those things I'm kind of down to watch more on upcoming Christmases because I've only seen it a couple times.
mhm.
It's not like one of those things I've seen 4,000 times. It hasn't I haven't worn it out yet. So
And Miracle on 34th Street is, I think, probably like one of my mom's favorite films.
I think that's again another one that kind of missed my age group or
Mm,
something. Maybe it was like if parents showed it to you, you got it, and if not, it wasn't
maybe.
because again I don't know that I've actually seen that. I've probably seen parts of it, and
Mhm.
maybe it was on somewhere, and it was just at that age group where I was playing with like GI Joes and He Man, and I was like, I'm not interested in this black and because that's the black
Yeah,
and
that's
white.
black and white.
Yeah,
They did remake it, but I feel like both of these films, It's a Wonderful Life and Miracle on 34th Street, just watch the originals. They didn't need to be remade. And a part of their charm is the fact that they're in black and white.
yeah.
It gives you that classic Christmas feeling.
I like a good black and white movie. Like we watched as a family, and again as another one that I'd never seen. I think it was back this summer. We watched Casablanca.
Mm.
While we all got together, went to a concert, stayed in an Airbnb together, and it was like let's watch something together. And it was like I think one of the kids was like, "How about like something old?" And it was like Casablanca was on whatever streaming service we had available. there. I was like, it's probably one of those things you should probably spend some time or find some collections and get back into some of those movies, because the same way I'm complaining about people that are young that haven't seen Planes, Trains, and Automobiles and the Christmas Vacation and things like that. I'm a generation that missed a lot of these kind of movies.
That's what's good about like the Criterion collection. You get to, they say, well, these are like the staples of the era.
Yeah. Yeah, I think again because we didn't have cable, I think I missed those replayings of things like that. I know I never had to talked about the Christmas Story with the shoot your eye out, kid.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever saw that until I was like a freshman in high school, and one of our teachers showed it to us. Like
Yeah, that was a good roll out the cart with the TV on it and the VHS beneath it. That was one of those films.
And then, of course, that became a thing where 24 hours of A Christmas Story. Mm-hmm. After a while, you're like, okay,
that's enough of that.
I've seen that enough now.
With the Christmas Story explicitly, I would say culturally we kind of overdid that one a bit. Just a little bit. The next one I want to talk about, this is our second to last, our penultimate
yes
Christmas media, is Mickey's Christmas Carol. For the longest time, this was the only version of A Christmas Carol that I had ever seen.
It was the one that I watched, the only one that I had seen more than once.
Mm-hmm.
And it was because of the ABC had those Sunday night Disney things, and I think we got to see it most years in the Christmas season. And I think we stuck a VHS in and taped it one time, so we had it on tape, and that went into our like huge collection of like 12 movies that we owned right. that we just rewatched all the time.
It's still, for me, even though I've seen probably a dozen different iterations of A Christmas Carol at this point, it's still the one that this is the bar for me.
Didn't it spawn the whole Ebenezer Scrooge the Duck thing? Kind of spawned little spin-off things too, didn't it?
Well, the Scrooge I looked this up because I was curious. I didn't know Scrooge McDuck was created in 1947 in like Donald Duck comic strips.
Oh, okay.
But this was the first time that Scrooge McDuck was in an animated feature.
I gotcha.
And Scrooge McDuck has always been like the character Scrooge from, like, he's inspired by Scrooge from
I always assumed that it started with this movie, and then you started to see him in other little properties and shorts and things. And
yeah, he became a larger, well, I guess from 1947, he was a part of the Donald Duck universe. But yeah, you got like DuckTales.
Yeah, that's I guess that was where maybe I was seeing.
Yeah, it was like a cartoon where he would like swim through money.
Yeah,
that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
this is one of my favorite ones. I haven't probably seen it in 5 or 6 years at this point.
I've got to track it back down because I'm sitting there trying to remember was Goofy, Jacob Marley?
Yeah. No. Marley was. Let's see. Let's look him up. Let's look those up real quick.
I was trying to remember who played like the different ghosts and stuff too.
One of them was just like a big giant. He like wasn't even. Okay, see, this is an issue.
We'll see. I did Disney's Christmas Carol, and it brings up the Jim Carrey one.
All right, so you had.
I have to do Mickey's.
Mickey Mouse with Bob Cratchit. Goofy was Marley's ghost. Jiminy Cricket was the ghost of Christmas Past. Yeah, Willie the Giant was a ghost of Christmas Present. I don't even know who that is. Just a big giant redheaded dude.
Was it the giant from? No, that's not the giant that he kills against Jack and the Beanstalk and the Mickey and the Giant.
Let's see, Mickey and the Beanstalk. Yeah, okay. Good call.
Yeah.
Okay, that's where he's from.
We had little VHS tapes again of all these like sort of random Disney. They weren't really shorts, but sort of mini cartoons. And I know that was one of the ones that we had, where the Jack and the Beanstalk character story with Mickey.
Let's see, Morty and Ferdy Field Mouse was Tiny Tim and Peter Cratchit.
Okay.
Are they in anything else?
I guess that's one of those things that's so frustrating about Disney kind of becoming what it's become, is that all the classic stuff, you kind of, or at least I've just steered away from everything Disney altogether. You kind of forget about how good some of their old stuff was.
Yeah.
I mean, I hold on to my copy of Robin Hood. I still say that's the best
The
Disney thing
Disney
that's ever
film, yeah,
created.
5.
Disney, Dumbo, Song of the South. Those are 3 of my favorites. I have copies of those.
I like the Sword in the Stone, man. I think that's probably my favorite Disney film, Sword and Stone.
I think that was another one that was like we miss. I've seen it, but it wasn't one of the ones. It was a big deal that we got to go see it in a theater, kind of thing.
Looks like maybe the last time the Morty and Ferdy Field Mouse, his and Minnie's kids, they were in a cameo in a 2-part Mickey Mouse Works segment in 1999. That's a shame.
If I'd understood the whole vaulting of their stuff before they created this evil streaming service that they created, I would have been stockpiling some of their Blu-rays and properties just to have them, so you could kind of go back and enjoy them without having to pay for their just that service of garbage.
Cool.
We're finishing a couple of series. Like, I'm getting through Home Improvement. I wanted to watch it all the way through, as I never watched it all the way through because I think it finished as I was leaving high school and going to college, so I just kind of missed the end of it. We're doing that on Hulu, and then we're getting rid of it at the end of the year. And it literally is because of, we can talk about that more later with the in our leftovers and stuff, but Disney acquiring all of these properties and just systematically destroying all of them is just sort of, it's way past crossed the line with me and them. And it's just, I don't care if they have things that I do like. I don't want any of my money going to them in any way, shape, or form, funding anything else that they do. And there are a lot of things that we just watch on Hulu because we have it, and we'll exist fine without it. So we're getting ready to cut that one out. But I wanted to finish Home Improvement because it was an ABC thing. They've got a lock on it too. So we're going to finish that up and just be done with it.
They've had ABC for years.
Yeah. I mean, ABC, Disney, Friday night or Sunday night movies was a sit down time for our family to always see things together. But it seemed like they operated in their own little spheres, and now it's like it's all one conglomeration of just nonsense.
It was 96.
Yeah.
Wow. That's wild. 30 years.
Yeah. Yeah, they were doing Sunday night things on ABC well before 96. That might have been Disney sort of paying to get onto ABC at the time, and then as Disney grew, they're like, well, why don't we just buy ABC? It's probably the way that went.
One more, I guess if this would be more accessible Christmas show is the Charlie Brown's Christmas.
It really is probably the best Christmas. I don't know what else do you put over this in terms of something that you should watch at Christmas time. You can sit down as a group of 50-year-olds and watch it and enjoy it just as well as you could sit down with your 5 and 6-year-old grandchildren and watch it and enjoy it. It literally crosses all lines. It's super simple animation that they never even thought was even going to be a thing when they made this thing back when it first came out.
Like in the 60s.
Yeah. And had no laugh track in it, and people were like, nobody's going to like this. This is going to be a failure. And people just, after they saw it, they demanded it. And it's like, we bring that back. It became instantly popular. And it was in 1965, and the whole plot line of the thing is not super complicated. It's kind of like the Emmet Brown's Jug-Band. I have trouble saying that together for some reason. Charlie Brown is sad and gets involved with the pageant. The pageant doesn't go well. He gets frustrated by the commercialization of everything. Even his dog is putting up Christmas lights. They get like a pink plastic tree that they buy for the pageant, and goes out to get the only tree. There's only one tree left, and it's that little sapling. And Linus sets the world right. I have that here. Talk about this, whatever I was going to say about the show. I'd actually like to close this with just reading what Linus said. But
before you read that, I just want to say I do think this is one of those films that everybody should see.
Yeah.
A lot of Christmas films, you could take it or leave it, but this imparts, at least culturally for America, I think definitely imparts the message of Christmas.
Yeah. It's I don't know, honestly. Those little specials, it's a Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown and Christmas Charlie Brown, and those things were just one of the things we always got to watch on TV.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I watched first, which came first, the chicken or the egg on that whole thing. But this is the one that we go back, and we actually watched this, I think, last year here with everybody at home, and hadn't seen it for a couple of years, and I was like, wow, that's just good. It's just so simple, so good.
I think it was a lightning in a bottle kind of situation. The other holiday specials are fine. The Great Pumpkin and all that, that's all fine. But the Christmas one is the seminal one, the one that everyone needs to see.
Yeah.
I kind of feel the same way about the National Lampoon films. It's like the Christmas one is like that's the one. Yeah. The other ones are fine. No, the Christmas one is the one that's...
The only thing to watch before that is watch the first one, and it just kind of lets you know who some of the characters are. Mm-hmm. It gives more context to Cousin Eddie showing up in their driveway in their motorhome to know why this dude shows up and who he is.
He's your cousin. That's really all you need, really.
Yeah. There's references back to the first movie, but not necessary to just appreciate the character they created for that movie. But this is kind of the wrap up of our desserts. All the things that we're looking forward to watching over the holiday season. And again, it's not just in movies. It's always a good time of the year to just sort of kind of regroup and reassess things and kind of remember what it's all about. And Christmas films and Christmas ideas are the things that always help us do it as a family. And if you're ready, I'll give it to you. Brought to you by Linus. Sums it up probably better than anybody else I can think of that's ever done it. But this is in the context of this is the pageant's gone bad. Charlie Brown's, he can't get everybody to do what he wants him to do for the pageant, and it's all going bad and falling apart. And Linus steps up. Linus with his little blanket puts his blanket down and tells him that he knows what Christmas is about. And this is the quote from Linus, which is also a quote from the King James Bible. But Linus says, "And there were in the same country shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them, and the glory of the Lord shone round about them. And they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not, for behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. And this shall be a sign unto you. Ye shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of heavenly hosts praising God, and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill towards men." And when he finished the last line, Linus turns to the audience. "This is what Christmas is all about, Charlie Brown." And then they go from there. Linus takes them out. They go to the little sapling and prop it up and wrap it and decorate it with lights from Snoopy's house, and they sing "Hark Herald's Angels Sing." And if you want your Christmas in a bottle,
that's it.
That's it.
All right.
So
I think that's a good place to finish.
That is our episode for desserts and our December series, and we will be back next time for our coffee service.
Yes. Where we will dive into some Christmas anime.
Kind of. A little bit of a random aside, a little bit of a slog to try to find some good and some bad. So that's where we will see you next time.
That'll be next week.
All right.
Thanks, Joel.
All right.
Thanks for joining us.
Later.